agree with Lindsay in terms of it having a link with something we could call universal consciousness, and it definitely has its own intelligence. But within us, and there are different grades of it, because I see life force fundamentally as a level of organization of information. And the more aware of it you are, the more organization there is, and the more contact and communication you will have with it. Interestingly enough, I was with another quantum physicist today, and we were discussing the research he was doing, because lots of people are trying to sell the power of brainstorming. And their remit is that when we have 20 or 30 people together and we're thinking about one particular concept, there's a high energy, you could call that the life force, and lots of wonderful ideas come out. But as a result of all the research he's done, that lasts for about a 3-minute period. Most people, especially when they bring this concept into a corporate context, because he's been working in that field for about 30 years, Dr. Kevin Byron's his name, and he was saying that their main interest is basically getting results quickly. So it entails people who don't know each other trying to get quick results within an hour. And he found a lot of people asking subconscious questions like, why should I listen to this? Why should I be doing this, etc. So this is to do with how well in tune you are with your own life force. So the whole purpose of doing any meditative practice, for example, is switching off that part of ourselves that is the judge, that is trying to discriminate and put things into boxes, and open up to a more larger domain or realm, which I call creativity, which is part of creation. And that's wherein, as Lindsay says, the overall intelligence lies. So when you align yourself with that intelligence, I would say that's when you become truly more intelligent.
Thank you for that, Konstantin. And another question is from Andrea. Andrea is from Brazil. Andrea asks, Lindsay, I would like to know how it is possible to be free of a past sorrow and cohabit peacefully with the person who hurt me.
Well, I would say come to my workshop.
So would I. I'd say go to.
It takes me 2 to 3 days to really take you through it, but I'll describe a little bit about how I see experiencing the pain now that it's over. And we talked about it in the physical way of burning your hand, and if you let it go, the body knows what to do and it fixes itself. Again, I don't propose to be giving any scientific explanations, but I will say it in a way that may give you a sense of what may be true and be able to describe in other ways by a scientist. But I see that when pain lingers, there's a negative energy stuck in your energy field. And it presents itself until it's released. There's several ways to look at it. You know, back in the 60s and 70s, they started using terms like cell memory, emotional cell memory. Today, people talk about energy more because recognizing that a cell is a certain form of a pattern of energy that manifests as a cell. So your response, the way I see it, your response to what they did that hurt you was really a function of some viewpoint, perspective, or something that you already had before that happened, before that incident happened. And when that incident happened, this perspective, which already carried pain with it. Let's say, however you got it, because we don't really have time to go into how perspectives get there. Other than to me, it's all about our conditioning, from intrauterine conditioning to when all the years that we've lived and been exposed to various attitudes and experiences, as well as our genetic inheritance, because that's emotional as well as physical. So something was programmed into you about that type of thing happening to you. And you had an automatic response to it. And if that response is hurt and a belief that you possibly love me or you do not respect me because you did that. That is a perspective that you carry that is continuing to hurt you now beyond the incident. And it's because of your perspective of it that you continue to feel the pain, not because it was done. If you were able to experience pain or insults or whatever without knowing what your experience was or what they did to hurt you, it's hard for me to speak directly to it, but metaphorically, you whatever that is that you experience, when it lingers, it's a function of how we see it. And so getting in and releasing the negative energy or finding the perspective, you might be able to find the perspective on a conscious level and recognize that that's actually what's hurting you. But most of the time, recognizing that is saying, now how do I get rid of it because the pain still hurts? That's where things like EFT or energy psychology, which is tapping on the meridians to get rid of the old pain that came with that program initially, is stuck in your energy field. It's a longer conversation than can be had now. That's one of the best ways. It's called emotional freedom technique. Is an easy thing that people can learn. And to me, it's like defragging the computer. You're going in there and pulling out the old wound that was re-stimulated right now by that person's behavior that you're living with. And also there may be attitudes about deservedness. Why we can't forgive sometimes is as simple as we grew up hearing and therein adopting a mentality that says